the NPP that says they are better managers of the economy. We have the men, and they use 25 billion to solve a 9 billion problem. Wisdom.
NDC, show down.
Standing here and telling us that you have created 2.6 million or 2.3 million jobs is not enough for us. We want to see the tangible.
From 2017 to Saturday, Sikabia Ediama MP, every MP, Ajama Indiano Kaho, 18 billion old cities.
Busia, Emre Yadrumi, show down Emre. So what I say, Ebiana Muria to Mukakra, the entire make a show down, you have video in the President Akufo, Memo show down. Vice President, Memo show down. Let's challenge President Akufo anytime. Say, what cast of challenge President Akufo anytime. Yes, say a challenge MPP. NDC anytime or busa higher hand balance open subscribe na wase so atese na photo any bia ho na me see be ma MPP NDC showdown and say tape bia leaky obusia and say Asiedu Nkatia leaky audio what audio na ye na your first time was say both MPP NDC they are all MPs they receive 18 billion Ghana cedis. Current tiska 18 billion Ghana cedis. Say come na be ye empuntuduma ama omo constituencies. Ntimi bisa wo say wa wo hwe bi ni. Wo constituency ho. Empuntuduma ben na wo MP. Wa be ye no ho. So maya empuntuduma bia bisa na say 18 million new Ghana cedi. Ewo hemfa o constituency o MP no debe na wa ya obegira so dia to Biden amano abusu na ho enne me pese yeden ye kaka ye ho me hedeka post video episode 1 this is episode 2 abusu asa na ye be mo showdown no ye hwe video we asa na ye de mo showdown na se o de video we na se wakoto aba no ma APP NDC na che se ya gamse no yes gamselling ye hwe video na se akwa video so
the receiver says that the banking sector challenge was a 9 billion cedi problem, which they admitted. Now, fast forward, the NPP that says they are better managers of the economy. We have the men, and they use 25 billion to solve a 9 billion problem. Wisdom is calling, NPP will not listen. How do you use 25 billion to solve a 9 billion problem? And you had the gut this morning to come and sit here and say that what? And then she was saying to salvage the situation. You salvage a 9 billion problem with a 25 billion taxpayers' money, and you want to be on the ballot paper for us to vote for you again? Ah!
Now I'm saying you remember MPP NDC show down abusia nene show down no yenjingum answer na you be call leak audio no so no you have video we doctors are suffering teacher trainees are suffering yankoso na yenti
teachers are suffering teacher trainees are suffering nurses are suffering and nursing trainees are suffering. Patients are suffering. Students are suffering. Traders are suffering. Pensioners are suffering. Drivers are suffering. Contractors are suffering. Civil servants are suffering. And farmers are suffering. Fishermen are suffering. And industries are suffering. Artisans are suffering. And kayaye are suffering. The disabled are suffering. And men are suffering.
Wakasi was it the disabled are suffering? During NDC time, po. Na disables na mo adwuma ye which is now mo to and na disables omo and omo some of them are dying. You are coming to stand here teachers as Charlie Busa to na heat can say heat this is episode 2 go episode 1 na heat
Women are suffering, and children and Ghanaians as a whole are suffering.
No, show down. Now we are not suffering, no. We are dying. We are dying. Abusia, peoples are suffering, no. We, Anna, Abusia, Okokopemo UTV. Yes, a UTV radio station, no. Now, host Ibisa and say, Ghanaians are suffering. This is what you remove the Mayana, Abusia. And ne, that's Ocha. Yenjungum.
But who can you know? Na Mekai or mantra as running mate.
Yes.
People are suffering.
I know.
Ghanaians are suffering.
Yes.
And you can. But in spite of Nyama Uchechi, you know, say economy near better say Canadian then. What it is, Sanya Mani be say, as a month will be shoot patches, people are suffering at a so home. Napco boy, it has its challenges, free SHS, only challenges. One village, one dam, one district, now only challenges.
Oh, yes.
Inti sa Nyama okay, Nipan people feel it.
Aye, Ampa.
We don't just feel it too. We are in pain. We are in pain. Let's continue.
Nobody should be allowed to be president who cannot answer these questions straightforward. Yes or no?
Kwame, I think that as for challenges there, I mean, say there's any country in the world only challenges on anything. But the important thing is say you do things to bring relief to people. When we came, for example, they had cancelled teacher training allowance. So the teachers were suffering. Households were suffering. They had cancelled nursing training allowance.
Suffering master. Now answer this question.
When are we getting allowance? Since I started my school, since first year, I've not gotten allowance until now.
I think the first question had to do with when we are getting allowance for our district. So I think that is a question I will take to the Ministry of Finance. I wasn't sure of where you were with your alawa, but I think that I will check with the Ministry of Finance immediately.
Abusia, onipa we ebe president edi. Nti yenjini pa we eni. Should we trust this person? Was it like oba now odi adwuma gu kwan so, utua nurses. Nurse is like that bang and sabe can allow for 3 years. Was it teachers are suffering? Now we are not suffering, now we are dying.
They were suffering. The teachers were being paid 2 to 3 months for 2 to 3 years of work. So they were also suffering. So we had the NHIS became almost cash and carry. So people who were using the health system were suffering. Access to ambulance was not there.
Access to ambulance was not there. Wait, and you come for back up. Abusia, you come for no betting. This is a surprise. More here, you come for no. Chilemayen or come for.
Messi many woman bow me up and the war by my constituency. Officers of SA. Bomia. Yes, ya branda oba bomia ba oba no kran faso ni so me crack amema, because you have to ashame of yourself. Me am ka say here police car, fire service car, wa mayen. No obi here fire service car, we vote for development. Wa mayen, say MPP form fi ahye office no constituency ya. Every that day na request here nipa makumako 6. En kinkasu enipa 3. Akuma da nipa 1, efran 2, nipa 2. Me and my brother Bako Nifia Shidrobe. Police Vonica wa say. It is also about facing off. Now be a campaign and San Twaba Mount. Now Bomia Sabeye President ya. What is the sense in it?
What is the sense in it? Say also be president alawana emma. Now we are not suffering. Now we are dying because say utie na some na okana. Like it says ambulance and those kind of like equipment a bit me solve or problems am o this like omo fie ni omo niam omo lucy until now are we suffering or we are dying? Just a question. Me say afi ye be mamo show down me catch some koto aba na Shoni pa, would you say the money sending somewhere, but my head, but really minor. So what I say, like majestically.
You know, and many rural areas were suffering because basic infrastructure was not there. And people could not pay their children's school fees to go to school. So when you know, it created an environment of increased hardship. And when we came in, no, we are not saying we've eliminated hardship, but we have reduced it tangibly. So, I mean, 11%. NDC war, cumulatively, electricity went up by 265%, you know, cumulatively. Free SHS, it is helping reduce the suffering of our people. NAPCO, graduate unemployment is reducing.
I run a youth-driven platform. I engage a lot of youth in my line of work. And most of the times when you speak to them or you go to the ground, so you're having conversations with them, and you make mention, oh, the government has created 2.6 million jobs, and they go like, it is not reflecting. We do not have jobs. And that is like general atmosphere amongst most of the youth out there. Either they have been employed and they are being paid paltry sums of money, their salaries are not being paid on time, or they have not been paid at all. So just standing here and telling us that you have created 2.6 million or 2.3 million jobs is not enough for us. We want to see the tangibles.
We want to see the tangibles. In human day, we want to see them physically, mentally, grammatically, litematically. We want to see it before we vote for you.
You made the right point to start with. That says that we've created 2.6 million jobs. But for the people you talk to, they are not seeing it, reflecting. And that's exactly the point I made. That in fact, even though we've created 2.6 million jobs, it's not sufficient. The demand for
Abuja, my mentor said it was 2.6 million jobs. Ghana there was 16 regions. This is 2.6 million jobs ranka or more creating no. What the 16 regions be nka ahwachira wa yemfa. Which is like omu isu ya bien yeden. Edi di agro. They are playing with our mind.
Employment is very high, you know, but you can just imagine that if you had not created this 2.6 million, the demand would have even been higher.
Abusia, brofuna oncha na like meha on professor mente brofia. On professor mente brofia because so what creating Numa 2.6 million and I still now like inflation is not possible to say not a car as by now Gazanka inti what created 2.6 million jobs in Mponio Abusia and a year we are suffering. Abusia say I feel Kotwaba, open shady power we are all trying through we all show physical trying through what Kotwaba. Abusia yanko onabo Asiedu Nkatia na nsem no so obusia wate omoto yanko so
si mame ma kwan wi ada
mame enti eseda bia na obapro enema nketinketi bi so ha ehia wo constituency for no eno nti no aban atwaska first na ese MP kwa ye ma MP bibia sei no yatra ho abantwa sika ye de befa MP no so se onfa meye mpuntudwuma